Just be able to drive around. Just be able to drive around like a StarCraft medevac. Let pick people up. Let it heal people. If it dies, kicks everyone out. Make it so that they get stunned for like a quarter of a second if they get kicked out.
I mean,
developers. We used to do a hero design show, ladies and gentlemen. We're used to this.
They could certainly give it a shot by just releasing a brawl, and then people could see if that would be too strong or not, and I would be certainly down for that. But let's get back to the game here, Tetcher.
Yes.
First map is going to be Sky Temple. Both teams have, you know, not the best win ratios, although Hot Lady going for a straight up 50% here, whereas RPG, they played the map a little bit more, but they have yet to succeed a little bit more as well. And ladies and gentlemen, the first draft of the second day of week 1 here for the fall season in HGC China has commenced. Are we going to see anything special? With RPG, you never know. And as Tetra said, we want to see their comfort zone. We want to see crazy crowd control combos. We want to see Wang on a hero that can truly make a difference. The Tyrael, like in game 1 yesterday, might not have been his, you know, his super sweet candy hero.
The Tyrael's fine. He's played some really good Tyrael so far. Garrosh being banned. We've yet to see him be played, but he is banned once again. Also, Hot Lady have one correct decision to make here, and that's to pick Dahaka right now. That's the one correct decision they make. They need to remove a global and remove a chicken hero. It's the easiest way to deal with RPG at this point is to just play around chicken. Just ban out his correct heroes and force him onto something like Zeratul and then punish it.
Definitely a very good point, and they do exactly that. Tetcher reads the Chinese teams like an open book by now. Beautiful stuff. But you basically mentioned all the valid points. Chicken plays that hero very often if he's not on a melee assassin. He's fantastic on Sky Temple in general due to the size of the map and the way the objectives work. So definitely a good choice. Now, how is RPG going to respond to that? Are they going to pick a counter global like Falstad? We saw how disastrous 2 globals could be on Warhead Junction yesterday.
Yes, we did. I have a very quick question for you, due to the fact that I've heard mumblings about theory crafting the return, the debut, I would say, of this ability in pro play on a map like Sky Temple. Ragnaros with Lava Wave. What are your thoughts on that? Because if you can't rotate to clear, you might as well just do it from across the map.
Is Lava Wave really that good to
the cooldowns have been reduced. It basically means you're without a heroic for team fights. Like, it's just a mumbling in terms of what's the biggest issue on Sky Temple? The fact that it's so large it gets split pushed, which is why global's so important. So why not just stay as 5, always win the 5v4 because you have 5. And you force the globals out of lane, but either way, you counter push the globals.
I'm not sure if I want to walk that route, Tetra.
I mean, like I said, it is a mumbling.
Yeah, I mean, Ragnaros as a whole is a very mediocre hero at the moment. It's not like, you know, he excels at anything else. He's a perfectly fine hero if you need wave clear, if you need a soul laner, but he's not like Sonya level, Dehaka level. So. Yeah. I really
E-Star would have disagreed with you.
Oh yeah. Ooze would probably punch me in the face right now if I said anything like it. Was good to see you, Ooze. You brought a little bit of special fire to the HGC China when no one else would pick the Fire Lord anymore.
Yeah, you and the rest of that E-Star roster will be missed.
Yes.
But now though, Greymane and Uther going for some heavy CC. RPG, they do already have a global hero, so good start. That's probably Infinity's.
Probably. Infinity, of course, very solid on that Falstad. And, you know, Loktar, he's more of the hard carry type. Falstad is kind of a supporting DPS, I want to call him. Brings a lot of utility to the table. Oftentimes it's his role to engage team fights, to initiate them with a beautiful gust, but he's very rarely the one assassin to finish them all off. That's more like Loktar's role. Maybe he's going to go for the Li Ming. Maybe he's going to go for the likes of, let's see, the Vala, maybe even. I mean, anything's possible, really, because RPG's draft is so neutral up to this point.
Very true. So, RPG, hovering over some bans. And what are we going to see? Hovering over the Li Ming. And that's a reasonably fair ban. It's one of the highest pick rates for... definitely one of the highest pick rates for Hot Lady, so just nice and solid there.
Yeah, very important to keep in mind. That Li Ming ban, of course, is kind of a preemptive measure there as well, because they did first pick Anubarak, and Anubarak still, with that cocoon, can be a really strong playmaker, and the Disintegrate coming out from Li Ming is probably still one of the most efficient ways of destroying and slicing a Cocoon.
Exactly indeed. Currently, only other heroes who can clear that quickly would be Tassadar and kinda Tychus.
Kind of Tychus, Tracer maybe if she's close.
Tracer's good, yeah. I forgot about Tracer. Anyone with super high attack speed, Tychus and Tracer, very effective at that. Tassadar, brilliant with his new laser auto attacks.
Oh yeah.
I still remember when that was a talent. That was a level 13 talent.
Yep, those were the days basically where Tassadar still had his normal auto attack, and he was actually quite strong despite the fact that he didn't have the laser for a long period of time.
Yeah. I mean, he was more micro-intensive.
Yeah.
So Malthael coming in, that will be the chicken hero. And Sa bringing out the Karazim. So far, they've got good CC, globals, tank shredding, regular damage, nice healing. Overall, this is probably one of RPG's most flexible and best drafts I've seen.
Yeah, very, very solid so far. We have Nubrek being played by Wang, where he feels very, very comfortable on, especially when it comes to initiating, double stunning people, and of course making all the difference with one perfectly timed Cocoon. Sa has actually impressed me quite a bit yesterday, despite the fact that they dropped a map. Oftentimes he was considered to be the sort of weak link, due to the fact that he had a very low hero pool in terms of just heroes he could play. So the Karazim yesterday looked pretty okay. Karazim today definitely a hero to be on the lookout for, but we can't underestimate the power of Hot Slady. The new team members, Feed B, and again, most importantly, convinced me so much that I actually think they are the team to beat right now for RPG.
The return of the Chromie.
Oh yeah, who's gonna play it?
For 365.
Yeah.
Almost certainly 365. Now we have the last pick for RPG. This will be a Loktar pick, most likely. Yep. With Li Ming banned, he's actually dropping down into his lower picked heroes. Valor would still be there. Tychus still available. Yeah, he is against double tank, so Tychus could be pretty reasonable.
He could have also picked the Chromie. He's definitely a mage player by trade, despite popping a beautiful Greymane if needed. But there aren't really a lot of mages left for him to shine on. He did play Nazeebo several times in the previous season as well.
Nazeebo and Kael'thas are two mages that he currently has 100% win rate on.
Right.
He has 0% win rate on Lunara, Gul'dan, and Abathur. When did he play Abathur?
Wow.
I forgot about
I
that.
can't even remember. But they go for the Tychus.
Going for his second highest pick.
Tychus very solid. Tychus, of course, in his own form, a very decent counter to Chromie as well, because you need long range or hard engage in order to reach her. So with the longer range on his auto attacks and his two abilities that have great range as well, I think he could be the hero to really put a little bit of additional pressure on the Chromie.
Quite possibly. Could be good. Other option I would argue out of the other heroes he would have picked would have been Nazeebo, just due to the superstition at later level.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Seriously help you deal with Chromie.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And even if you don't happen to go Superstition, the timeout can still be fantastic when it comes to blocking Chromie burst damage, especially after a temporal loop.
The issue with that is there is a Greymane on the other team, and when you take Superstition, you're made out of paper mache, and the timeout can only delay for so long.
Ice
and
block,
Chromie
sorry,
can
by the
just
way.
use ice. Yeah, the Chromie could just use the ice block as a setup if she is careful.
Yeah, exactly. Very, very true. Now, ladies and gentlemen, the first game is about to commence, and we can see the live studio crowd. Oh, look who that is. Do you remember him?
Yes, but I can't remember the name. Who, sorry?
I think it was KT's Butcher. Not wearing his jersey just yet.
Oh, nice.
I think he's about to get ready, because they do still have a little bit of time because before their game goes live. So always cool to see players, you know, sitting in the live audience, watching the games, preparing themselves a little bit more. Because once again, just in case you didn't know, HGC China is being broadcasted from a live studio in a shopping mall in Shanghai. So, man, what would I give to go there and watch all those games myself live? But we're going to dive right into the action. I'm not sure if there's going to be a hype trailer. I think so. So I'm going to shut my mouth and let you guys enjoy the trailer once more. even
Speed hype trailer.
Yeah, I was gonna say speed hype guitar riffs to basically present those two teams for you. It's RPG versus Hot Lady here on Sky Temple. For RPG, we have Chicken on his Malthael, Wang on the Nubrek, and that was way too fast for me. Loktar on Tychus, and Sa on Karazim.
Whereas on the right hand side, Hot Lady 365 on Chromie, again on Uther, Lias on Dahaka, Feed B on Greymane, and it's going to be Carlo on Tyrael, one of his top heroes.
Fantastic, fantastic stuff, and look at that Chromie Tetra. It is the Q build once more, 365. He is going to prove to us that this was not a one-hit wonder.
He knows what he likes, but against RPG, it's a very different beast. Let's see if it does work out here. As we see a little bit of pokes. Immediately, the Nerubian armor blocking that out of the way for the first shot by a noob, but it's still a stack.
I can't wait to see the new Chromie coming into action here as well. We got to test her a little bit at Gamescom, and we can now test her on the PTR as well. She's going to see a pretty interesting rework, which basically requires her to hit 80 Sand Blasts in order to unlock that Sand Echo. And then, of course, her Sand Blasts are going to be fired twice. Also, she has a couple of new talents. She can swap locations with that Sand Clone if she chooses the respective level 13 talents. So, a lot of new twists, a lot of new cool moves coming to Chromie once the update goes live.
Indeed, it's going to be exciting to see. Right now, we see Sa, the support player for RPG, zoning Carlo on Carlo's side of the map. Showing that aggression that we saw get him killed several times yesterday on Rhaegar, but with Karazim, he's able to play a lot safer, and I'm enjoying Sa's Karazim a lot more than I've been enjoying his Rhaegar so far this season.
Yeah, he definitely seems to be an aggressive playmaker, similar to a Luthor, rather than a passive support who only, reacts to what the enemy team is doing. So his Luthor play, his Rhaegar play has not impressed me as much as you said the Karazim has. So I'm really, really happy to see that RPG stuck to their guns. And Sa in particular is going to be a hero to be on the lookout for.
MPS to speed boost out of there, using that extra speed that he gets from his trait, in this case, to get out of there. The trait that he picked at level 1, the Iron Fists.
Yeah.
Nice dodge on the Q there by Tychus. And this is the issue with the Chromie build that is picked. If you miss, that kind of sucks, because it's a very small hitbox area, whereas the W, the whole point of that build is there's a very high chance of you hitting, because it's in the good AoE.
Exactly. So once again, we see the Piercing Sands coming in here at level 2 for the Chromie. No Bronze Talents, which is normally the go-to across all the regions because it gives you so much utility. It allows you to stay further back when auto-attacking. It's an additional amount of nice burst damage after a Temporal Loop combo, but 365, of course, showing to us once again that he does not care what others do, and that is the Chinese sentiment, the Chinese lifestyle here for HGC. They don't care what others do.
Yeah, Sa is 365 is a strong, independent dragon who...
Oh yeah.
Don't need no dragon breath. Don't need no mana talents. Speaking of which, he's nearly out of mana. But for now, the temples are traded for both teams, as Sa has already started on mercenaries. Karazim is not like Rhaegar. He cannot do this alone, and as such, Falstad rotates to help him.
Yeah, also Feed B here, combined with, again, they're taking this mercenary camp. Both teams actually going for the Siege Giants at the exact same time, which is kind of cool to see because the second temple, of course, is going to spawn in that bottom lane, so you want to apply a little bit of pressure. Both teams are now moving towards the Bruiser camp. Falstad probably flying over, helping Malthael as well, and even the car is even joining the fray, so really nice to see. Again, here in that bottom lane, normally the supports should never be the ones who are clearing and dealing with mercenaries, but in that case, of course, there's no one left to do it. And I already like this rotation coming in by RPG. They're trying to put a little bit more emphasis on that bottom lane. Maybe take out a tower or two, maybe even go all the way to the fountain, because the fountain is so important when it comes to dominating the second temple lane.
Uther had more than enough mana to have healed that camp at least once.
Maybe.
I'm kind of disappointed he didn't. As we see Start, beautiful dodge on all the Chromie abilities actually. Finally gets hit by a little bit of damage from Uther there in Tyrael, but very nicely done, keeping himself safe. Sa's control has been very on point this game. So far, we have not seen Chicken. He has been very much doing his own thing, but he's finally about to arrive where some other heroes are, and is going to look to try and make a play onto Carlo. Yeah,
Carlo, though, he is Tyrael, had his Eldrin's Might at the ready, so, you don't want to overcommit on a hero like Tyrael, unless you're 100% certain that he doesn't have his escape up. So counting cooldowns in general, especially on heroes that do have one or two mobility mechanisms, is super important. You just saw the barrel roll on Falstad. Now's the time to focus on him. Also worth mentioning, in my opinion, that Sa on the Cars team did go for Earth Ally this time around. He didn't go for the man in green, which has been the standard in China for the most part. But of course, they want to deal with these auto attacks. And here comes a temporal loop onto Falstad. Take him out.
That was an incredibly well-timed drag ton by Dahaka to guarantee that kill. Beautifully done. And with Falstad down, we're seeing Chromie beginning her rotation. Dahaka can tunnel down when he needs to. Falstad will have to fly to try and even up this fight here. Zero, by the way, he took Zealotry as his level 7 talent, not going for the Angel's Grace to combo with the Heretic Reforging that he took at level 4.
Yeah, it's all about providing protection to his allies, namely a Chromie, if she gets engaged on by the likes of Malthael or Nurbrike, or of course the Greymane, who's going to go ham on the enemy front line and back line himself. Hot Lady basically establishing temple control here with that kill on Falstad. They made sure that they had the numbers advantage, and they're doing a fantastic job in controlling this early game.
Yes, they are. Looking very much in control. Those shots go onto that bottom fort, but the bottom fort's still very healthy. We're definitely not in a position where a boss can be taken. No one is close to level 10. These are the kind of situations you'd see that boss attempt. Yeah. If one team was level 10, the other one wasn't. They'd already taken down the bot fort. Those would be the ideal moments. We also, by the way, are seeing a Divine Storm and a Guardian of the Ancient Kings for Uther.
That's exactly what I wanted to talk about there as well, Tetra. Yesterday, we almost exclusively saw the Hand of Freedom in that
Hand of Protection.
Oh, Hand of Protection. I keep calling it Hand of Freedom because it was freedom in World of Warcraft.
It frees you from CC. I'm like,
yeah. And you had the Blessing of Freedom in World of Warcraft, which basically made you immune to any sorts of, slows and roots. So I still get that confused. My apologies. But it's, of course...
I like your version better.
There we go. And it's, of course, a talent that's still very good. Guardian of the Ancient Kings, that is. However, it has seen less and less play because Uther's armor as baseline with his, trait now is a little bit lowered, so you can only get up to, 65% armor instead of 75. It's a little bit of a nerf.
But still nice.
Still nice.
Armor is armor when someone is locked down, especially when you're against a hero like a Nubrak who's gone for a tunnel. Here comes the Tormented Souls Divine Storm! But the palm is dropped beautifully onto Malthael here. So as actually surviving, Tiger's moving into the backline. The Cocoon is already down and they're setting up to try and punish it, but it's the Hacker inside. They don't want to risk getting dragged. As such, they're just using the Odin as disengage, just dropping some siege damage.
Yeah, Karazim is like, you divine, I divine. I'm going to show you what the better heroic ability is. In that case, it was definitely the Divine Palm, countering all that burst damage that came from Hot's Lady. And now, all of their heroic abilities, except for the adaptations, are on cooldown. Of course, Temporal Loop doesn't have the highest of cooldowns, but the Divine Storm and the Sanctification, most importantly, still on cooldown for a long period of time. And that might be, a good point in time for RPG to look for another fight, but they themselves only have the Gust available.
Yes, they do, and as such, they need to be careful. We are seeing Hot Lady pulling back, don't want to get caught out of position here. Even with only that Gust available, they still have to be very careful, especially with Chromie not here. As you can see, Chromie's already up top with Dahaka here, and we see Uther hanging around the mid lane, ready to rotate up if stuff starts to go down south. Speaking of down south, bottom fort is about to die.
Yeah, it's in the south as well. So the bottom fort is about to die here. RPG taking back the momentum a little bit in their favor. Falstad flying to the middle, and they go on the Greymane.
Greymane is doomed! Gets completely taken out. 3v1. He was trying to hide under a fort that was already dead, and as such, he got ganked. He stayed too long.
Yeah. 365 now might be the next target to get engaged on. Whenever there's a Nubrak nearby, she has to be extremely cautious, the Chromie, that is. So, still, if there's a wall or a fort that she can hide behind, she can still drop those spells. He's been doing a pretty good job already in terms of, stacking up that damage. However, you can already tell that RPG did watch Hot Lady's game yesterday, and they're not nearly getting caught as often as SPT yesterday did.
However,
okay, speaking of getting caught.
Yeah, here is an issue. Dropping the Odin as the self-cleanse.
Wow.
Beautiful play here by Loktar. I was about to just criticize him for not picking the Neo Steel plating.
I didn't even know that worked.
If they're going to do that, then who cares?
Yeah, I didn't even know that worked. Odin apparently dispelling the effect of Temporal Loop.
Self-cleanse. Yeah, it makes
it's really cool.
While you activate.
Really cool, really cool. Well timed here on the side of RPG's Lock Tower. There we go. That is the reason why he's considered to be one of the top tier assassins in China. And once again, for those of you who weren't able to watch last season, he was the one who currently had, or who had, the highest DPS on average per game for the longest period in time. So this guy is definitely someone to be on the lookout for.
Yes, it is. He's once again though he didn't pick Neo Steel Plating. As such, there's going to be a 30-second window where Chromie will have Temporal Loop and Tigers will not have Odin. That is a really cool thing he can do that only works a couple times, basically, because there's going to be opportunities where he's not going to have it available.
Oh yeah,
he is going to be very reliant on either Karazim to go for the Cleansing Touch, which he can do at level 16. He would miss out on the way of 100 Fists, but it could still be pretty reasonable. Or he's just going to have to play a lot further back because he does not have any kind of spell shield like that Neo Steel.
Oh, and in general, if you trade a Temporal Loop cooldown for an Odin cooldown, that is always a favorable trade for the team that has Chromie. So, despite the fact that he can cleanse himself out of it, but if they don't get a fight as a result, it's still a massive cooldown waste on the side of RPG. So let's see how many times they're willing to trade that.
It is, however, like I said, it's a cooldown waste, but it's always more preferable than just straight up dying.
Totally.
The worst case scenario is if you die anyway. That's the worst thing. Like, we've been over this before on this show where Dredd just told a story of one time where they're just in comms and you just hear, guys, you just hear in the tempo comms, guys, I died. Oh, that's okay, it's cool. And I used Void Prism, and it's the worst.
God damn it, Dreadnought! No, it was never Dread. Yeah, it wasn't Dread because he was the support. But
actually, I think it might have been Dread because he did actually play Zeratul in their scrims a bit.
There we go.
He was the Zera player, but yeah, that was a fun story. I enjoyed.
Yeah, definitely true. Similar to Overwatch, of course, sometimes managing your cooldowns, your heroic abilities cooldowns, is more important than actually dying. Now, here we see another disengage, another cleanse on that Odin. But in the meantime, we see Karazim falling. Couldn't even palm himself, baby.
Yeah, got CC'd hard. And down goes a Malthael as well. Beautiful use of the stun lock of Hot Lady.
Did you see that Sanctification Tetcher? It was basically canceling the Mighty Gust animation while it was already on its way. So that was one of the most beautiful timings by Tyrael that I've ever seen in HGC China. So Carlo showing up massively here. No knockbacks, no slows, and Hot Lady secures this team fight with a clean 2-0.
Yes, they do. Nicely done, and as such, they actually have a 2-kill lead over RPG. It's been a very low-kill game so far. Both teams just looking for little picks and not been able to get them every time. Karazim back, Malthael just about to respawn.
I feel kind of bad for all the people that have baited into watching HGC China just by highlighting on the 20+ kills on average per game. But no worries, guys. Sooner or later, we're going to get there.
Yeah, you just get them all in one go. It's fine.
Yeah. I mean, truth be told, Sky Temple is probably not the best map to have those everlasting brawls anyway, because map objectives are so, you know, spread out across the map. But once we get to Infernal Shrines, this is where the real fun begins.
Yes, it is. So, we are seeing Carlos just hovering around, scouting out a little bit due to the fact that his team, for the first time in the game, actually do have a XP and level advantage. RPG otherwise have been leading most of the game. You can see Chromie is already on her final part of her build. You can see the Past and Future Me already available.
Yeah, the Quantum Overdrive is ready just in case you want to have that additional amount of burst damage at the ready. Future and Past Me here to provide those Cyclones. And we have an initiation on a Nubarak, not really being able to deal a whole lot of damage.
Yeah, easy escape. Time trap found by a Nubarak, nearly found by Malthael. Sar drops the palm, but is able to get out of danger.
They need to go in right now.
That means he's very low, and if he gets hit by a very Chromie ability in this choke point, then he is going down, and that's going to remove all the healing. But Hot Lady are in full retreat because RPG aren't done.
Yeah, RPG is not done just yet. They go in. A lot of damage coming through from Malthael as well. Wang, unfortunately, too short here. with his burrow charge. That was a constant back and forth, and I think, Tetra, that if Hot's Lady had immediately reinitiated after Saw's palm going to waste, they could have maybe forced the issue, but as such, they gave the team too much time to come back, too much time for Saw to heal back up. That was not the cleanest of team fights there.
I think they were thinking about it, but the second that Tormented Souls hit, it was very much like, okay, we are leaving moment. So that was fair enough, a little bit of hesitation that maybe cost them, but no one died, so overall, not the worst scenario.
Yeah, the Warrior player also, like Tutorial Carlo, also dropped the Sanctification just to be like, okay guys, let's go, let's go, let's go. They can't guess us away now. But yeah, the rest of his team was not on the same page there, unfortunately. So, level 20 getting a little bit closer for Hot's Lady, and another engage by 365.
Yeah, lots of damage. Drops a timeout to protect himself from Saw. Palm on Locktar, but there's no damage. There is damage. Something hit him which activated the palm. And that's good news for Locktar, because now he's got so much health as they shred through Greymane. Look for Carlo. Good CC. He is down 2. Big old group up for a Tyrael explosion, but no follow-up damage. We will see a noob go down. In the meantime, Kerosene is dead.
Go get him!
Flee! Flee! Tower. Never mind. Chromie auto attack. Not even Bronze Talons. So yeah, Kerosene a little too deep, but that was a 3 for 1. So overall, good job.
Yeah, overall good job, because he kept 2 enemy heroes busy at the same time. A little bit of tactical feeding going on so that his teammates could clean up the remainders of Hot's Lady. And if I were a World of Warcraft raid leader, I would say 50 DKP minus who dropped that palm or who activated it, because I think it was Feed B on the Greymane. It was so close to expiring, but with that last cocktail or ranged attack, I couldn't really remember what it was. He procced it at the very last second and made Tychus survive.
Like, it's very much like a comparison of, do we wait till the palm is about to proc and then fire so that he dies second it pops so Kerosene doesn't have time to heal?
Yeah.
But if you do that, there's room for error where you accidentally proc it and then he's healed more.
Exactly.
So it's usually just worth waiting till after the palm expires, I would say.
Yeah, and it was very close, to be fair. I mean, it was probably just a millisecond away from expiring, so sometimes, especially when you play on such a high level, you just sometimes miscalculate
Overpredict.
The duration. Overprediction, exactly. That's the word I was looking for.
Indeed. So, level 20s available for both teams. Malthael is going to be reviving. Falsat, Epic Mount, nice little global ability here. Big red button, of course. On the other side, Holy Arena, Redemption, as we've seen, Hunter's Blunderbuss, which is actually, in my opinion, a bad idea for this particular composition, because it means you're more likely to accidentally proc palm. I think you're actually better off with the extra resets on the go for the throat, so you have a better chance of just blowing them up the second palm finishes.
No matter how you put it, I think the palm is always going to be a problem for Greymane, because if you get an extra charge of go for the throat, if you use it at the time the palm goes off, you still don't get the kill, and your talent is going to be moot once more. So the Blunderbuss is probably, you know, a little bit more valuable when it comes to wave clearing in general, but as we speak here, China just won't give us enough time. They go for another team fight right here, right now. Both our teams are level 20.
Cocoon expiring. Tychus just dashes out of the Divine Storm before he is CC'd. So far, no one has died. Malthael has been trying to do some damage into the backline, but now he has become the front line. He's in a little bit of trouble here. Lots. Chromie is completely zoned out, wasn't able to get the damage, and Kerosene in the backline, focusing her down.
Oh boy, RPG is all over the place. The global is here as well. The Epic Mount making sure that Infinity is exactly in Tyrael's face, but of course the Archangel of Justice gets away this time. Uther is completely ignored because they realize if they had chased him once more, they would have lost even more precious seconds to go for that keep, and maybe even for the core. As it is now though, they have 2 heroes to defend the core. 2 against 4, 2 against 5, excuse me. Can they do it? 30 seconds until reinforcements arrive.
Judgment and Justice looking to defend the core. Is it enough? Gust in 3 seconds to completely disengage this defense, and that's gonna be it. That is GG. RPG taking game number 1.
RPG taking game number 1. This time they did not disappoint us. They went for a solid draft, for solid comfort zones as well, and they looked like the RPG that we were expecting yesterday in game 1. So they definitely learned from their mistakes. However, Hot's Lady, you know, they had a couple of misplays as well. You can only expect the Chromie to work this many times. I'm not sure if going for the exact same strategy like yesterday was a smart choice. because the enemies, they're always watching.
That was nicely done by RPG, and we actually saw Star finally achieve what he's been trying to do all game, and that is just, as the support, put pressure on Chromie. Because the fact is, if he was dropping enough heals before the second the initial burst is gone, second his team's on the offensive, he knows his team's not going to be taking too much damage, so it's jump into the backline, pressure Chromie. A couple times that was nearly his death, one of the times it was his death due to Uther being next to Chromie. In this case, Uther was already somewhere else, so it was a perfect move to isolate 365 and focus him down.